And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Songs of Six. We're going to wait until this negative event goes away, and then we're going to try increasing food consumption rate, see if that can jumpstart a little bit more growth in our city. And yeah, we're going to see... Basically, we're going to see if we get the city growing again. If we get the city growing again, we're probably going to do another recording session, or another stream of this city. If we can't, I might be tempted to start a new city. Getting accidents back and back, that's not super great, because at the moment the city isn't growing, so every casualty is a citizen that is gone. We're 146 odd jobbers short of our current ideal working conditions for the city. I could probably back off on woodcutting a little bit. That's probably a place because right now we're exporting the wood, the surplus wood, and well, the wood isn't worth very much. In fact, estimation, we're making 800 surplus, so just say, give me those 22 workers back. Might go a little bit more than that as well. We'll do like another 20 off of you. Actually go another 10 off of you. Like, we're still making surplus, still making 300 surplus, but that should hopefully free up workers for other work sites that are more important. Theory, we're paper short, so we're having to import that. Fabric positive, although we'd probably want to make more clothes at some point, so we don't have to import that. And yeah, we're waiting for this negative event to go away, which is another game day. So in one more game day, we'll then turn the food up, hopefully having stockpiled enough that we're not immediately being heavily penalized for increasing food consumption in food days. How goes the animals here growing than adults? They are now fully adult. Okay, so if we want more eggs, and we're going to want more eggs, we're going to need more farms, or more pastures. Only wants to be in there. I suppose because we got no ongoing construction projects, that's what we'll work on right now. Husbandry. Actually, just build another one of you. Back to control click. Like so. Well, that's as far north as we can go based on that low end. Okay. So that's about 13 more workers worth of pasture land. Yeah, it's basically getting all the ideal land there. So we'll get that one done to get the extra eggs, and yeah, let's turn up food by 1 serving. Well, 1/2 serving size, and see if that hopefully generates just enough loyalty we can get population growing to up instead of down. Let's see. Still positive in 3 on eggs, or on meat and fish. A little bit not positive on eggs. This is Till. This might actually be a reasonable place to say put a veg farm. So we won't fill that in unless it does need more housing. Oops, that wasn't what I wanted. That's the hide the overlay button. Don't need to hide the overlay. Wanted to turn off the soil stuff. I guess urbanization was something that was planning on being tracked, but as far as I can tell, it isn't tracked. Or at least isn't tracked by our people. Problems. Insufficient services, okay. That's the same thing going on from all the bathhouses. All the hospitals are probably having issues receiving their fabric. Well, opium as well, but fabric mostly. And then we have issue with you. Not sure what the problem exactly is on those. And then we can see the moisture. Our people like moisture, so for example, the temple's actually in a pretty bad spot. It's offset a little bit by the fact we've got a canal going down one side, but... we definitely are growing, which is good. We're down to negative 28 odd jobbers, which is an improvement. Okay, we might be at the point where I'm going to need, if I'm going to continue extending the fisheries and want more janitors. Oh, we did hit the 6K population limit, or level. So 50 more innovation, 50 more knowledge, 12 more noble promotions. So if we pop in here, a couple different things we could spend this on. Question is, what do we want to spend on? Right, we could spend... oh, apparently we were knowledge negative, so I don't have enough for scholars. That would be one thing we could potentially spend on, right? So we could spend on scholars. which would be 2% more innovation and knowledge. Yeah, that probably isn't worth it, because we're only making 700 innovation, so it'd be 14. So you're paying 50 to get 14. That's not worth it. And knowledge is a little bit better. That we'd still be getting like a net 30, positive 30 for it, so a little bit early for scholars. Do some maintenance or spoilage. Store goods and preserve foods for longer periods of time. That's a little bit tempting. Carrying capacity is a little tempting. That's all innovation. Healthcare, I think, we really want to increase the amount of food that we have available, right? Next level of food nutrition is probably a bit too expensive. Like, our problem with immigration is fulfillment. So that's not the solution. But yeah, so we're not there on fish, although it wouldn't be too long for fish. We probably are there on basic tending. Because right now we're getting 1.5 innovation per worker. Probably actually getting a little bit better than 1.5. Let's take a moment to peek. Right, so we can come down to the lab. Our lab workers. So ignore the multiply by 2 bit. Yeah, we're getting about like 1.6. So if you multiply the worker value of the tech here by like 1.6 to get the innovation, that's about right. So actually, that's saying that the fishing probably is worth it, right? No, the fishing isn't. The pastures is. Doing a bit too aggressive rounding to say the fishing's worth it. Yeah, 6 to 8, so that's like a 1.33 ratio. And we're at 1.6, so take that. 6 to 9, so that's about 1.5, so that's good. Less than 6 to 10 is probably too far, so we don't do that one, at least not yet. Basic farming is worth it. That one's worth it. That one's worth it. That one is worth it. This one is not. And we can't afford that one anyway, so that's fine. Okay, so that's the innovation spent. Knowledge. Could be saving it up for various things, but I think we want to go... Do you want to do spoil it? I think we want to do maintenance. To make it cheaper to maintain people and save us on... effectively save maintenance on maintaining the buildings. Save the janitors. And then we'll spend a little bit on safety. Yeah, we'll take the first 3 safeties. Just to get less work accidents. And you see, I think there's only like a 5% maintenance bonus, but we're paying like 200 wood in maintenance, so that's like 10 wood a day. It's like almost 10 stone a day. Like 7, 8 cut stone a day. The maintenance, if it is actually working the way I think it does, will be somewhat valuable. In the meantime, we'll have to import less furniture, so on and so forth. Yeah, we want some more janitors because we're going to want to keep chasing the fish value. Unless I want to start putting fish over here. Might actually be close enough to the existing janitors. This section's close enough to the existing janitors. We've actually already run off the end here, right, for this bit in here. And are about to run off the end here. So we want like a janitor out here. That's what this janitor being down here. Yeah, let's grab another janitor. So let's copy and paste this janitor. We'll put him a little bit farther out here so it covers probably what's left of this area over here. And then we know the janitors want actually 12 different resources. Let's try to build a warehouse that holds 12 different resources. That's going to hold 5 different resources, which is actually not enough. Because if we do it the way I was thinking of doing it, that wouldn't provide enough, right? So that's 5, 10. That'd be 14. So that's actually 2 more than we need, but that's a bit more closer to what we want. And this will support us running fishing all the way out into this peninsula. We won't. Well, actually, I won't be able to use the little shallow areas here, but everything else that, as long as it's connected to the land, the shallow areas that are connected to land, we can use of it. And then eventually I'll have to do the same over here. We'll put one out on the peninsula or something to facilitate use. And there is also a really large clay deposit over here, so if we want more clay, we got more clay. And there's some road. I'm going to have to build probably housing community over there. So copy area. Housing community over there so we get some local housing for the fishermen. And this is taking its sweet time to build. Partially probably because of how short we are on odd jobbers, right? So unlike bits that people think to come out a short little distance, it might be a little too far for them to go. If they're not completely unemployed. We are still growing. Oh, actually, we're not at this point. So if I want another 50 workers, well, we know that's going to be enough housing for another 60. So let's take this to full 6,000. they're gonna trickle in at the current rate, but see if this ever gets built. Of course, while we're waiting for that to build, we're letting other things that just take a long time to happen. Right, so we're waiting for you to grow. First harvest in theory. I think at this point it might actually be first harvest. I think all the food, all the fruit we've been getting is from harvesting forage. Yeah, I was hoping that would grow a little bit faster, honestly, or be like the pastures where you do get some yield while they're aging up. We don't have enough money to buy slaves, so slaves not be what we get today. Although that does bring in up a... I'm looking here, we got 82% value, so if we had the paper, expanding the administration would not be a bad plan. Right now we're getting an 18% penalty due to overhead. Okay, in hindsight, some of the stuff probably needs to get postponed because we need them to sort of be in the area before any of this is going to be feasible, because you can see they're basically arriving, they're doing a little bit of work, and they're leaving. Right, so we need the houses, and the houses will allow them to sort of do stuff in the local area, and then the other stuff here will allow them to actually sort of... Well, mainly the houses. We need the houses so they can actually be nearby. Otherwise they're just not productive enough. Yeah, at some point, we probably don't have enough guard post coverage. It's a little spotty. It's mostly fine. Probably want one over here. We'll want one over here if we're actually making a major work area. We'll probably need some over here. Guard coverage is actually better than I was expecting. Okay, we now actually have net odd jobbers. If they can build one of the houses, I can actually provide them some housing nearby, and they might actually stay in the area longer. You're getting closer now when the house is finished. Thick seam of high-quality clay was struck. Clay pits produce more clay until it runs out. Okay. So for 8 days, it'll produce 3 times the clay. Okay, warehouse is done. It's, we'll set the speed actually reasonably low because I don't remember the full list. Wood, cut stone, leather armor is in that list because it's used to maintain the guard post. I think it's pots, stone, wood. The other way to check is to click janitor. Clay gems, tools. Clay gems, tools. I'm missing 3 more. Metal, paper, metal paper cloth. Metal, paper, cloth. So that's the 12 the janitors need. I'm also going to stick a thing of fish in there and a thing of eggs in there, because our people want storage of that, like, everywhere. Okay. The first one's pretty cheap. We're going to hold off on the second one here. I don't think we need super large capacity in the local area. The local area is going to probably want some very, very basic services in the form of a well, probably max size, and a hearth. I missed the hearth. It's been a while since I've done without just copy and pasting it from a different location. Market. Probably want to market at some point, but hold off on that a little bit more. Yeah, we'll need a mass grave, but... Hearth. There it is. I suppose we can stick a little, tiny little stage in there. Entertain, or not stage, speaker. Tiny little speaker in there. Speaker only has one side, so we'll stick the small speaker in there. So we got some local housing, got some local services, and then we can really just start cranking up the amount of fishing in the area. Now, if we don't need the area for housing, I suppose we can also use the rich soil in here for pasture land. Make some eggs that way. Yeah, let's build some more fisheries before I get, or default back to trying to prove that admin, now that I know the admin's pretty bad. Control, let's put the speed reasonably slow. How far north can I take this one? That far north. If I can only go that far north, we'll leave that bit for the next fishery. question is, how far west can I go? Very far west. There's the limit. There we go. So, nice big fishery. It'll support 21 fishermen. I don't think I need that much land space, so we'll turn that back to other options. Might use this one down here for the storage. Yeah, we'll use you for the storage. Auxiliaries. So, again, we can return the unneeded land. I don't need this land. So, that will be that big fishery, another 21 fishermen. Pause that actually for a moment. That seems a little low for 21 fishermen. Although I guess that's what it is. We got 100% efficiency there, so yeah, finish building that, and then we'll call that good for the food for the moment, and then we'll go back and work on trying to improve the admin, which probably needs to be combined with making more paper, but we'll do admin first. Yeah, that overhead's getting pretty bad. Under this watchful eye, great brother, you and your hold now have the pleasure of meeting me, Gatsy the Beast. Okay, let's before we decline, let's check up on who Gatsy the Beast is. Gatsy the Beast. 111 soldiers. Reasonably well equipped. And it is only 111 soldiers, and we do have 260 in the town. Gatsy, I think we're telling you no. We're declining. If you think you're hard enough, come and find out. Just realized we got a big hunk on the island over here that we don't need. Let's go hand that bit back. That bit back. Bit back. We have these bits because it was easy to select, not because we really need to hold on to them for the fishery. I can put a little bit more, actually put a little more in those squares. Okay. That's a little bit better for what we're doing there. There we go. You forgot to pay! I did not forget to pay. This is ill news for us indeed. Perhaps we should have paid the ransom. Prepare to die. Well, we'll see. Evasion. Yeah, we're gonna fight you on the field of battle. Equipment-wise, they are probably better equipped than us, but we have a numerical advantage. So if we can successfully convert that into a flanking bonus and sort of pincer their units and get them to morale surrender, that will be good for us. Close formation. Deploy the main battle line, and then we'll deploy in close formation our other two detachments for flanking. It is mounted. In fact, I think they're fully mounted. Whereas we're just got a bunch of guys on foot with pointy sticks. Their flanks are compromised, but the question is, can we get a morale kill on the main bulk of their unit before they simply just inflict massive casualties on us? That is the question. No. Morale fail. Units break and run. We managed to render 3 of them down. Well, that's the battle. I don't think there's a... don't think there's a way we make that better. You have lost. Your men have thrown away their lives in vain. The enemy will be at our gates any moment. Yeah. There's potentially an argument that we should at some point move the throne to some place that is less in the middle of the city. Stay down here. So when enemies come for the throne, they can just sort of waltz in and be like, "Yep, we took the throne. Didn't run anything, break anything." All these guys are still going to be running through the town because of where they decided to deploy. Oh, they decided to set up a catapult there. Okay. It's not protected by anything, so you just go running through the town, get to your target. Right, of course, still, yeah, we moved it so it would be less having to damage my city, and they still damage the city a bunch. There they go. 30% of my warehouse stocks, which hurts. Repair? Oh, they broke one of my pumps. Repair my pump. I think that was it. I think they basically went through a pump. Deleted a pump, basically, and damaged some buildings. Sorry, clicked away at that message. That message was like... Exalt. Okay. Him basically gloating over his victory. And of course, that got a bunch of people killed. So, big oof. So we got vacancies, people can move in. Okay, so it didn't break those. It did disable one of my laboratories, which is a little annoying. And of course disabled the pump. Pump's almost back. Is it gonna remember the old pump settings, or I'm gonna have it like over-assigned? Looks like it remembers the old pump settings. So situations like that is when you might want the immigration tech, so more people can move in. Yeah, let's see if the population bounces back from that. It might not, honestly, with how the food stocks are looking. Everything's delivered to the fishery, so they're working on it. And then, yeah, we need more people. We need more people to move in. And then once we get those people moved in, we'll probably be moving over to try to improve the admin so we can try to get more out of our productions. Slowly and settling. Yeah, it does look like we're food positive, so that's fine, even though it's... Again, it's a little bit of a setback. We're not getting much migration, is a different problem. Yeah, if anything, it looks like we're basically getting no migration. Yeah, it looks like that was 10 days ago was the last time we got into immigration. Okay. They turn the number of retirees down a bit and try to get some people out of retirement to actually provide more labor to the city. But yeah, the city's feeling a bit stagnant at this point. Definitely things we could do differently in the next run, I think. See if we can even get the city to bounce back to full employment again. Because, yeah, we don't have any migration, so... oh, no, the city hasn't improved enough. We did get some migration. Okay. So if that migration continues, then we should see an uptick. And of course, having people move into the city brings down indoctrination. That's one of the things that's a drag. Also brings down natives. One day the fishery will be done. Maybe able to back a little bit off on the system. Still maintaining the water pressure. Do I need that much clay production? There we can back a little bit off the clay production. Get down to 180. It does mean as we get more and more people employed in, like, the labs, for example, we're gonna run less of a surplus clay. Just poking around the city. Most of the city should be basically chugging along as it normally has. Yeah, still don't know about those bathhouses. The consumption is saying like 60, and if you do the math, it's maybe right for the year, but it might just be that these just have like really bad labor efficiency ratios. question whether the bathhouses are worth it. Well, it might be because bathhouses also provide a health bonus, right? So you provide them because they provide a health bonus, not because they're actually a very good service building. Massage parlors do the opposite. Although they still also have a pretty bad labor ratio. Both of those we could build up more of if we had workers. Corpses sitting out there. Still have... Oh no, wait, this is because I didn't click through them before. The deranged, we have a supply issue on something, and then admin points is still admin point problem. That's why we need to build the admin. Yeah, there's an argument to build more administration rooms, although that means more paper. More paper I don't have. Yeah, we're still growing from immigration. Maybe not super fast, but... Has those orchards come of age yet? No, 13 more days. Okay, orchards take a real long time. So until those orchards are of age, we can just turn these breweries off. Get back those 20 workers and send them something else. And then I could go around to all taverns and basically do the same thing. Find the taverns. This tavern. And yeah, the taverns we have, I think, will do a pretty good coverage. It's just this area down here, but that's fine, because we're turning them off. Okay, injury. Again, this is not really saving us many workers. There we go. I think that saves us a total of 26 workers. More dead and injured subjects. Oh, I can activate what's left of the road over here. It doesn't make it's not gonna make a big difference, but at least activate it and get it built. Given local people's time and patience. Build at least stone. I'm still getting almost all my leather in from taxes, aren't I? Yeah, the math isn't mathing there, because somehow we're full on storage, but yet the leather is overflowing and running 600, 500 something deficit on the libraries, but yet the libraries still work, so something's not working on that math. Maybe an argument to turn the leather industry off, although the leather industry is in theory producing... Here it's saying 1.4k. That's probably where the difference is coming from. Yeah, that's where the difference is coming from. Oh, that's yearly production. Okay, that makes the math more complicated. You know, that could be something. One place I can maybe try to get some workers back from is to pull the hunters off. Yeah, because the import depots are still importing, which is not how that math should be working, unless things are getting dumped at the import depot. I can imagine that maybe the taxes can be dumped at the import depot, and that's what's going on. Why it looks like they're importing. Incoming wares. So it seems like we're still somehow buying leather, even though it shouldn't be importing. Almost done with this fishery construction. So they cleared the land, and now they're waiting for stone to be delivered, which is quite a haul, to be fair. And we're at the point where we stopped getting immigration again. We didn't fulfill the odd jobbers, and we're not in a position to really increase food production. I think we might be a little stuck here. Anyways, that fisherman place is complete. And if we had workers to work there, would in theory provide us with more fish. And there's some priority balancing going on, so there will be some fishermen that come work here. Those results, yeah, so that industry is at maturity for the moment. Not putting more fields down. What's our research balance looking? Yeah, so there's not really any more I can get from research. Without putting more people in research, which is what we don't have. We don't have more people. And then up on the global map here, can't sacrifice slaves because we don't have any slaves. I suppose we sacrifice food. It's not much food. This will make that event go away. Yeah, up here on the world map, from a diplomacy standpoint, we don't quite have enough to get up to alliance. We can technically go fishing for a good event, and that might take us up there, but then we'd have to have enough to still negotiate, right? And then unites, 57 million. To become colleagues, I need to get up to 2.5, so I could technically move the diplomats around to try to get up to colleague status with a bunch of our neighbors of neighbors to try to get some more trade going deeper. But that's more about trade volume. Which, okay, might make sense in the case of wood, right? I think we're maybe exporting enough wood that wood's actually not as cheap as it would be if we had more trade partners. Although, it's wood. Wood might just be very cheap to start with, right? 9 versus 7. It's a little cheaper than stone, which is what I'd expect. That's the import fee, but that's not going to help me find where the price of wood is. There we go. Yeah, the cheapest one is 4 to 7. No, 7's actually the colleague, so that's the closest one. That's the one we're probably trading with. What's the trade volume? I think it says here, the trade volume. Export volume. Oh, let's see, depot capacity. There's trade capacity. So yeah, 14, 17 something thousand. So we could definitely be exporting more wood, for example. Although wood obviously is maybe not apparently a good thing to be exporting. It's a thing we could be exporting. It says we could be exporting furniture. We could try to do more pottery exports. But then I need more workers, right? We're sort of in that awkward spot of I need to figure out how to get the workers to work more efficiently. Which is probably de-diversification, right? So maybe pull back from hunting. Yeah, I might contemplate pulling back from hunting. We're not going to do it during this stream. I think we're at the end point of the stream, but yeah, we need to figure out if the city is going to continue growing and we're not going to resettle. I need to figure out a way to get odd job or positive so we can get to doing new tasks, new things to make the city happy. One way to do that is maybe pull the hunters. That'd only pull 30 more workers. That wouldn't actually take us positive. Although, if I pull the hunters, then we can pull... right now we've got some knowledge, or some innovation points invested in here. 9. We have 9 innovation invested in there, I believe. So you can pull that 9 innovation out to spend someplace else. And we're already, in theory, importing and or taxing leather, so that wouldn't be too bad. And we're importing stone. There's maybe an argument that we accept that except we're probably not making enough stone. Right, there's a reason we're not fulfilling our trade quota and getting up to our stockpiled amount. We've unlocked mechanic. So I could start producing mechanisms. We unlocked smithy, so we can start making tools. So there's maybe an argument that we need to pull out of industries and focus more on value-adding industries. Right, like, what's the price of coal? We're not exporting coal right now. It's maybe an argument that we import coal instead of produce it locally. Yeah, a couple different things we could try to do. Herbs are pretty expensive. It might actually make more sense to just import rations and not import herbs. Even though the ratio on the herbs to rations is pretty low. I'm looking at ration makers. That's a lever. That's not what we're looking for. Next building a ration maker. Okay, we're making 200 rations the cost of 10 herbs. Alright, so it's like a 10 to 1. And 10 to 1's probably worth it, so this would be about like 500 value to 200 value. It's not worth it to eat, because it's like 1 to 1 eat to rations, right? So if we're eating it, that's a bad thing, but for doing troop stuff, it's fine. And we're coming up on 7 days. So it might be one of those scenarios where we do one more stream. We see if we can get the city to grow using fruit to make Shada. We cut the hunters out. So we remove hunters, use that. They use the workers freed up from that to do, say, Shada and serve it in the taverns. See if we can get a little bit more growth off of that. Yeah, see if we can keep the city growing. Otherwise, I think the city is probably about as big as we're going to get it. Without, like, full redesign of the city. Making more space for things like statues and stuff. Like, we could shove a bunch more statues in, but I'm not sure how much that would help. We'll take one look at the tiles before we bring the stream to a close. Realm up to 15,000 to get more government points. Breaker of Chains is acquire a bunch of slaves and free them. Hospital. We are large enough that if we can actually get the access to hospitals 100%, we'd get the caretaker. Children of the Sun is a bunch of fruit farms. And that's in tiles of fruit farms, vegetable farms, and orchards. The Clumsy have 140 more accidents. Drunkard actually be able to serve enough drink. Entertainer would possibly be quite plausible to complete before we bring the save to a close. Move on to the next city. Gourmet is probably a little bit too hard. Heaviest of Hands. We just got to get the executions up to 1,000. We're on our way there, so that might be completable. We're not doing antelopes. The Incompetent. We haven't had that many defeats yet. The Merciless. Mercy. Mercy at 0. We've been merciful. It would take a while to swap all the way there. The Pleaser. So we're at the point where we're actually trying to get massage parlors to max. Would actually unlock as an achievement, so there's an argument to try that. Riches of Rich. Actually get the treasury up to 5 million. Warden of the North won't be doable in this one, so we can just pass on that. Metropolis is probably not doable unless we get really expanding again on the world map. Conqueror, enemies killed. The Great, so get up to 8,000 and 100% happiness. The Mad, get the Deranged up to 200. Invasions 1, so we'd have to actually be better at defending ourselves. Probably not doing Slaver in this one. We haven't assassinated royalties. We have not been undefeated. Uniter is unite with 4 kingdoms at this point. In Wise is get the education up to 80%. We've been going through indoctrination. This wouldn't be impossible, it'd just be real slow. Because at this rate, you can, if we go look at indoctrination, we're up to 12% indoctrination. And education is 5 times slower. So, not impossible, but it'd be real slow. And in fact, if we just sit here long enough, the indoctrination will trend up, or should be trending up. So, this should improve over time. Much like the native should be trending up. This is possibly one reason why the population does slowly grow, even when we're not really getting immigration, is we actually are getting native population growth. It is a little bit higher than the death rate most of the time. Yeah, retirement is still at 100%. But yeah, I think this is where we're going to bring this one to a close. This recording portion and this recording stream. If you're watching on YouTube, if I decide, and I think we are, we're going to play at least probably one more stream. We're going to try to pick up some of those extra achievements or extra titles before we move the city. before we move to a new city. There is a way, I think, might be on the world map. That's status. That's not what I'm thinking of. I think there is a way to sort of relocate the city. So basically do a fresh start on the same map. That might be interesting to try out. Something that's recently recently added. I'd have to look up how to actually do it, because apparently I'm poking around here. I'm not finding it very easily, but I think there is a way to do that. I'll hide the mini map. Yeah, I'm not gonna poke around too long to try to find it. But yeah, I think we're coming up on the point where we'll try to complete a couple more titles, and then it probably, if we're going to continue Songs of Six, it's time to start up a new save, probably, or a new city. Either as a different race, or even if we do the same race, trying to do maybe a little more focused of a run. So instead of doing like fish and eggs, just be like hard on the fish. Really try to get trade going or something. There's a couple different things we can do. Out on the world map, it might be worth. I think it is going to be worth moving the diplo points around in the next one, so we can try to expand our trade contacts, so we get a little bit more trade going on. But yeah, this is where we're going to put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, let me bring up the schedule. Yeah, let me bring up the schedule. And snooze the end so you don't get some ads before the stream ends, because the stream's about to end. If you've got any comments and you're watching on Twitch and you want them responded to, now's a good time to leave them. So today was Songs of Six. Tomorrow will be Planet Crafter. Tuesday will be Terra Invicta. Let's see if we can reestablish our orbital presence in that game. Wednesday will be Darkest Dungeon. We'll be back to this on Thursday. And then obviously the cycle will continue from that point. So Friday will be Planet Crafter. Saturday will be Terra Invicta, because we're not going to finish in one stream, so on and so forth. So I hope you've all been enjoying. If you're watching on YouTube, once again, should probably be a part up tomorrow. And if you're watching on Twitch, this is probably the last call for comments. After I bring the recording to a close here, I'm going to put a save in, do a refresh of the chat, and then make sure I'm not missing any comments, and then bring the stream to a close. For that, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.